Am I the asshole for making my wife think our son went missing?
Okay.
Probably.
Probably.
My wife has a horrible habit that I discovered 2 months ago. We were ordering lunch on the Subway app, and I told her to pick the location that has a drive-thru. That way, we don't have to go inside and take the baby out of the car just to clip him back in a few minutes later. She told me it's not a big deal to leave the baby in the car to run in and pick it up really fast. I had no idea she ever did this. I told her I was not comfortable with her leaving him in the car alone, even for a minute.
Right.
And she told me she's been doing it since he was born, and it's always been fine. She told me she does it to pick up food, run into the post office or the pharmacy, etc. I was floored. We don't live in a horrible area, but it's also not super safe either. I told her not to ever do this again. She told me she never stopped to think about the potential dangers and that she would stop doing it. Well, yesterday, as I was driving home from my brother's house, I spotted her car at the gas station near our place. It was parked in a spot up front and not at a pump, so I figured she stopped in to grab some snacks, which we like to do. I decided to stop and go in and say hi and get some food, and I pulled in and parked next to her. However, when I got there, I was furious to find our son in the car seat. The car wasn't even locked. I don't know what came over me, but in that moment, I decided to take my son and put him into my car. He's got a car seat in there too. I then drove to the other side of the gas station parking lot and waited for my wife to come out. It took 6 minutes for her to appear. When she saw that he was gone, she looked stunned for a second and then started to frantically look around and cry. I didn't let it go on long after I saw her pull out her phone, presumably to call 911. And that's when I pulled my car around to her. I parked, got out, and walked around to my son's door, opened it to show her that he was in there. She looked extremely relieved, but that quickly turned to anger with her asking me why I took him and did that to her. I told her she needed to learn her lesson, and she promised to stop leaving him in the car and that she was extremely irresponsible. It was so easy for me to pull up and take him. No one else at the gas station even noticed. So if he was really taken, there would have been no help and it would have been 100% her fault. She proceeded to call me cruel and psychotic and tried taking our son out of my car into hers. I said no and that I would be driving him home, and I left. She came home not much later but ignored me the rest of the day. She acknowledged me today saying she wanted an apology, and I said absolutely not.
Okay.
And she's the one who should be saying sorry.
All right.
She's been guilt-tripping me the rest of the day, saying no mother should experience the fear I put in her. Did I go too far?
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't know who the fuck you think you are. You're not her parent. You are not here to teach her a lesson. And I never I never love ultimatums. But in that case, if you feel that strongly, you say, if you do this one more time, I'm leaving you and I'm getting custody. Yeah. There's no way. There's no way. I'd rather an ultimatum than you try to teach me a lesson. The things that run through a parent's mind, I can't, if I don't find my cat for 15 minutes, I'm like, I put her in the dryer. Oh, she's dead. You know what I mean? Like the things that run through your mind, especially a little kid. I understand. Look, I'm the oldest of 3. So if I was in the car, it was 3 of us and no one was going to kidnap us. We were terrible. Like you would think that you left like the gremlins in there from the movie, like after they give them water, like that was us. Like literally, we were horrible. You know, like I thought the car seats in a car were for graffitis. It was terrible. It was terrible. But literally, if I was a wife and I was like, look, I don't have any help. It sounds like she doesn't have help. She's with the kid all day, and she doesn't want. And maybe the kid is calm in the car. And she doesn't want to take the kid inside. And if this is recent, I understand COVID, pandemic worries and stuff like that, in and out, fine, whatever. She must have her reasons. I'm not saying that. The last thing I think is that she's a bad mom. That's something you do to someone who is cruel.
It is a little vengeful.
A little?
A little. So the overall vote on this
is that he's not the asshole.
Yeah.
Yo, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, overall vote, not the asshole. The top comment, and there is an update, so we do find out a little more. But the top comment goes, normally I'm fully against game playing, but this is your child's life. I support your actions. Your wife is being hugely neglectful. Not to mention, it'll be warm soon, and being left in a hot car, even for a few minutes, can be deadly. Not the asshole. And I wouldn't let her take him anywhere until she apologizes.
Absolutely fucking not. Dude, get the fuck real. These are people that are mad at her because of the idea of a mother. Like, this person has to live for this person that they birthed. They're like the devoted mother, the Virgin Mary, the one crying over Jesus on the cross. Like, this whole thing of like devotion and all stuff. She's a person. People are so fucking ridiculous. If this was the dad, they'd be like, he's a busy guy.
People do make more excuses for men.
Absolutely.
I gotta disagree though. I do think the way he executed was a little unhinged.
You know what? If you want to teach her a lesson, fine.
A little unhinged.
My mind would have been like, my kid's in a sex trafficking ring. Immediately.
I would have taken the baby out of the car seat and met her in the store, and I've been like, you know how easy it was for me to just get him out of the car?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Do you know how easy it was for me to walk up to your car and take our baby? Do you know how many people? There was an adoption scheme where this woman stole like 5,000 babies from hospitals. Just would walk in, take them, and put them up for adoption. A couple famous celebrities actually got their kids through her. Like, there's crazy schemes out there.
I mean, we read about those nurses all the time in New York.
I wouldn't have given her the jump scare. I would have taken the baby out and just met her in the store and been like, hey, bitch, what you doing?
I know. So part of me is like, I'd rather tell my wife, I'd rather him have the tantrum.
Yeah.
It's worth it for him to have the tantrum than to be taken. You didn't even lock the fucking car.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a purse. You know what I mean? This isn't
not
like
even a dog. Like, you can leave a dog in the car and crack the window with the AC on.
No, my grandfather would have called the cops on you.
People do that now,
My grandfather would walk around with a wrench to break the windows down if they saw an animal. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but another part of me, the other side of me is like, I've never been a stay-at-home mom. So I don't know. And I'm thinking it sounds a little postpartum-y to me.
Postpartum depression's a big problem that I'm passionate about. So she could be really struggling.
Maybe her only breaks from the kid is when she's in the post office. Like, those 6 minutes is all she has. Mm-hmm. But there's a point where I'm like, okay, so how do I meet you in the middle? Like, you got to be honest with me. And I'm not going to think you hate our kid and you want our kid to be kidnapped. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you're leaving a carrot under a box for a rabbit. You know? I get it.
Yeah.
But you can't do this. And if you're feeling this way, how can we meet in the middle?
Yeah.
And it might be, Dad, maybe you work less. Like, maybe we get into daycare. We got to ask our moms, our families, or something like that.
Yeah.
But
there's respite care for people. Like, if you need an hour a day, like, you need 3 hours a day to go run your errands and enjoy yourself.
Nurses.
Yeah.
You know?
There's shit you can do. And like, I know affordability is tough, but partner with another mom where the other mom comes over with her baby, she watches your baby, and then you return the favor. Like, there's ways to do this. So if that's what you need, you just gotta fucking communicate that to your partner.
Yeah, I'm talking as someone who does not have children.
I'm far from it.
Far. Justin, you heard? I feel like when the first sentence, we don't live in a bad part of town. If you watch true crime, the first sentence, it was a sleepy, quiet town. Always. The most horrendous things.
Yep.
Like, my aunt lives in New Canaan, Connecticut. I swear, I think I'm the only brunette there. It's like the most tamest, boring place. And the most horrendous things happen. Actually, the family that lived in that house before my family hid Angela Davis in the basement, which is crazy. It's very rock and roll.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah. So I understand. I can understand how someone's like, dude, it's just 5 minutes. I'm doing my best. I'm with the kid all fucking day. I'm sorry I forgot to lock the car. But the other side of it is like, is that what you're going to tell the cops?
Yeah.
When they're trying to look for our kid?
Yeah.
Parenting is hard. Parenting is a hard place for me. Like, when people ask me like, oh, Tuffy, I'm trying to, like, my teenager's driving me nuts. What I do? I'm like, everything I say comes from zero experience. I have never been a parent. I've only been a kid, and I cannot tell a parent how to parent if I've only been a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's unfair. But I think if we're talking about the kid's point of view, he'd much rather go into the store than be stolen.
You'd fucking think. So OP gives an update on the situation. Mm-hmm. I sat my wife down this morning and did apologize for the way I went about things, but I said I was not sorry for caring about our son's safety, and in the moment felt like she needed a huge wake-up call. She apologized for lying and continuing to do this unsafe practice. I asked her why she seemed so casual about what she is doing. Most parents I know, myself included, are on the paranoid side when it comes to their kids, and she has been doing this for so long without seeing an issue. I asked if she thinks she's dealing with some kind of postpartum mental health issue, as I don't consider this normal. She broke down crying, saying she doesn't know what's wrong with her.
I knew it. Poor baby.
She has agreed to seek counseling, and until there's a major change/improvement, I will be running all errands with my son, or we will be doing them together. But I told her I cannot trust her anymore to take him places by herself.
Oh, until she gets her mind right. Mm-hmm. That's a little mean. I look at people when we talk about postpartum depression. It's like, of course, those hormones are crazy.
Oh my God. My sister-in-law went through hell with it. And like, she's very open about it. She's been on and talked about it. But she remembers an experience she had where the baby just would not stop crying. Would not stop crying. She was about to go fucking crazy. And she remembers this intrusive thought, and this was like her wake-up call, like holy fucking
like
shit.
This is too much.
Yeah, but it was a thought like, what would happen if I put hot sauce in my baby's eyes?
Oh, that's too much. Yeah.
And she was like, holy fucking shit, I need professional help. And she's a PA, she's a medical provider. And so it's like, it can affect anyone and everyone. Yeah. And it fucking, when it hits. It
does not, it does not discriminate.
No.
My mom and my family are crazy though. I feel like I'm the only sensitive one in that bitch. Like everybody is like, my mom is so rock and roll. She showed up early. I tell my manager this all the time because they have the same birthday and they're the same person. My mom was like, oh yeah, maternity leave, like this person in my office, she's having a baby. So exciting, but she wants like 2 months maternity leave. Isn't that crazy? And I said, what do you mean? She's like, I showed up after 3 weeks. I was bored. I know.
Oh my God.
My mom loves to work. She was like born to work.
Yeah.
But I was like, you don't want to spend more time with me? She's like, you're a baby. You can't talk. Yeah, you're with your grandma.
You're boring.
You're boring.
I can only do so much.
She was like, please.
Let me come back when you're like 1 and talking.
And my grandma didn't experience, but I asked her about it. I was like, were you ever sad to have a kid? She's like, no. And my mom neither. So, but they believe, obviously they believe it. You know what I mean? Like they're not like, this is made up or whatever, women being dramatic. Of course not. They're like, the hormones are crazy.
Yeah.
I think my grandma had like a thyroid issue after, like insane. But I remember when Brooke Shields talked about postpartum depression and Tom Cruise said it was made up.
My mom like had a hard time understanding it because she had 3 kids and like never experienced it. And so like when my sister-in-law was going through it, she was like, I get it's a thing, but like I can't wrap my head around it because I didn't experience it. And I think that's the problem with a lot of issues in the world.
It's like, that's what I tell people from generations older than us too. Just because you don't see it or just because you didn't feel it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and also my mom and my grandma, they had babies. My mom's last baby was 26 years ago. So she can speak about things in a different perspective.
Yeah.
But also methinks that maybe in 1959, people weren't talking about it in Medellin, Colombia.
I would think that's true. Yeah.
So it's like when people talk about losing babies now, like miscarriages. It is so fucking common, and I grew up thinking it was 1 in a million.
Yeah.
And just now,
it's so common.
It's so fucking common.
Ugh.
And people act like, oh my God, my body was designed to do this. You're still growing a human being. Sometimes things go awry.
It blows my mind.
It's very sad.
Blows my mind.
Blows my mind. Blows my mind. Girl power.
Crazy. Well, I'm happy for this couple. It seems like things will get sorted. Mental health help is very important.
I wish you'd loosen up a little bit. Come on, Bob.
Find her a babysitter. Like, she needs to get out of the house too.
That's what I was thinking. I want to say that, but socioeconomic, issues. I want to be like, get a sitter. My mom didn't get a sitter. It was my grandma. Livia. Very rock and roll.
Yeah, no, I grew up with my grandma. She had it rough.
It takes a village. It really does. It takes a village.